is 7:39. On the line is Dr. Jaimie Ronchetto from Cinema Vet here in town. And you can go right now to cinemavet.com. They are a full-service veterinary center servicing all kinds of animals and pets. Dr. Jaimie, good morning. Hello.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Well, it's springtime, and I think that we need to talk about what to prepare and how to prepare our animals for spring. I think we kind of don't realize the change in seasons can sometimes change the behavior, or maybe we need to take care of some stuff like allergies in our pets. So the first thing I want to talk about is one of the things. A lot of flowers are blooming, and one that I don't think we know that is very dangerous to pets. Tulips, very very popular Easter flower and spring flower, and tulips can contain some poison, some allergy poisons.
Yeah, I mean, in general, most of the springtime flowers, the tulips, certainly the lilies, you want to keep away from dogs and cats because they are quite toxic. The lilies especially, can cause even kidney damage, and others can cause, GI upset, vomiting, or at the very least a lot of irritation. Those springtime bouquets, make sure that if you do need to bring them home, keep them up and out of the way. Cats like to climb. And sometimes even just like the pollens from them, like the powdery stuff, that sometimes is enough if it gets on their fur and they lick it off. Even just that can be toxic, so you've got to be really, really careful.
So maybe you want to think twice about bringing flowers like that into the house, or even have them on the perimeter of the house. The other thing we need to talk about is heartworm prevention. I think spring is a good time for that. How do we go about heartworm prevention?
So for our dogs, we always want to do a heartworm test first to make sure they're negative. That is just a really quick little blood test we do in the clinic. It takes about 10 minutes to run, so it's super fast. They can do it while you're waiting for potentially other things. And once we know that they're negative, then we definitely recommend starting on monthly heartworm preventative. That can be something that's a chewable tablet they take once a month, or something topical that goes on their skin. I have a feeling we're going to have a really bad mosquito year, and heartworm is transmitted by mosquitoes. So after all that rain that we've had, I think we're going to have a ton of mosquitoes. So it's much easier to try to prevent heartworm than it is to treat. Treating itself can be dangerous, and it's extremely expensive. So prevention is the way to go, for sure.
You mentioned the rain, all the rain that we had, and now you expect the mosquitoes. What about fleas and ticks? How does that affect? Because it seems like we're always chasing fleas and ticks. Because we're in California, and I know when I lived back east, it wasn't really an issue until summertime, but we kind of have summerish weather most of the time. I mean, it is changing a little bit, but for the most part. So how does this rain affect fleas and ticks?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. We certainly can see fleas and ticks year-round here, because this year was a little bit different because we did get a lot colder weather, but typically we don't have a really hard freeze like we do in other places. So we can see fleas and ticks year-round. I think because of the stranger weather that we've had, we'll probably have more of all of the insect type of organisms. So I would probably bet on more fleas, more ticks this year as well. And many times you can get an all-in-one type of treatment for them with the heartworm, so a once-a-month medication or preventative. And again, in those cases, it's better to prevent than to try to treat, just because, especially with the fleas, they can be really tricky to get rid of. They can get in your house, they can get in your carpet, they can be in your yard, everywhere.
And as we, I know when the clocks change, and I'm not sure how long that's going to keep happening for us as humans when we change our clocks back and forth, but we're also told it's a good reminder to change the batteries in our smoke detector. So having said that, is springtime a good time, if you haven't, to microchip your pet?
Oh, absolutely. We always want to do everything that we can to help pets get back to their owners if they were to get away and get lost. So microchipping is a really, really good way to do that. It's just inserting a microchip under their skin, sort of like we would give a vaccine. It's just a little bit bigger. They do tolerate it fairly well, and they get a specific number that's just to them. That's their microchip. The big key, though, is that you need to register it. So either the hospital, so like we offer that we'll register it for the owner to make sure all the information is up to date. But if you have any changes, if your phone number changes, if you move, you need to make sure that you contact the microchip company and update that information.
Do people go to all the trouble of microchipping their pet and then they forget to do the most important part of registration?
All the time.
Oh, so it is a bit, okay. They just
it's really frustrating.
They think it's just magic, huh? That you chip the pet and then it'll just be magic and it'll somehow got it. So the big thing is the registration. Got it. Cinema Vet. We're talking to Dr. Jaimie Ronchetto from Cinema Vet Center on Cinema Drive, appropriately named. If you are in need of services, she and her team can help you out. They are all service, which means dogs, cats, rodents of any kind, snakes, and bearded dragons, the whole bit. 661-253-9300. Dr. Jaimie, thanks for spending a little bit of time with us this morning, getting ready for spring, our pets getting ready for spring, which we need to do every season, kind of gear them toward this season, even though they don't change all that much in California. They still do change, and we need to remember that. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm sure allergies as well. So get them checked out, 253-9300. Dr. Jaimie, have a great week.
Thank you so much. You too.